Converted World War II fighter bombers, helicopters, custom-made flying boats, and even massive airliners have been sent into on the war on fire. Flying directly into these smoldering hellscapes to extinguish the flames requires supreme flying skills and nerves of steel. Here are 5 of the best aerial firefighting aircraft. 5. Lockheed C130 Hercules, with MAFFS kit, you do the maths. The C130 is the Dame Judi Dench of aviation, much loved and able to excel in every role it's given. That the C-130 Hercules origins as a tactical transport able to operate in austere conditions give it the benign low-altitude slow-speed performance required for low-down and dirty firefighting. To be effective, aerial firefighting aircraft must operate at very low altitudes and slow speeds, often over rugged terrain and reduced visibility due to smoke. This creates a very high-risk environment for any aircraft. 4. Evergreen 747 Supertanker Jumbo on a gap year. The largest aerial firefighting aircraft in the world is also one of the largest aircraft in the world full stop. It is somewhat bizarre that the much-loved 747, famously known as an airliner, should take on such a gritty harsh role, but it has, and it brings a lot to the party, 18,600 US gallons to be precise. Developed by Evergreen International Aviation in Oregon, the first operational supertanker was based on a 747-100 manufactured in 1971 for Delta Air Lines. It entered service in 2009, fighting a fire in Cuenca, Spain. Its first American operation was August 31, 2009 at the Oak Glen Fire in California. It has since been retired. The other operational 747 supertanker was converted by Global Supertanker Services, which had acquired most of Evergreen's assets. The Global Supertanker is a Boeing 747-400 named the spirit of John Muir, a naturalist, author, environmental philosopher, and pioneering advocate for the preservation of wilderness in the USA. It was certified for firefighting flights in September 2016, and has since traveled the world fighting fires in Chile, Israel, California wildfires in 2017. In August 2019 it fought forest fires in Bolivia. 3. Sikorsky/Ericsson S64 Aircrane in the membrane. Variously compared to a giant grasshopper, a stick insect, or a dragonfly, the aircrane is in increasing demand around the world as a serious go-to solution for fighting forest fires, particularly when these are threatening built-up areas. From California to the Mediterranean and down to Australia, the aircrane is in year-round demand worldwide. The somewhat extreme appearance of the aircrane is a classic case of form following function. The aircraft has to lift the maximum load possible from the hover, requiring an efficient rotor, of large diameter and significant blade twist, and a lightweight and robust structure. In this case, the structure is essentially reduced to a series of box beams. Speed is unimportant, so the engines and gearbox are essentially uncowled, saving weight and cost and providing maximum ease of access for maintenance and inspection, tasks that may well be carried out under very basic conditions. Less obviously, the gearbox and rotor shaft are tilted 3 degrees to the left, cancelling the side thrust of the tail rotor, so that the aircraft hovers with the cockpit level when picking up cargo or water in the case of firefighting operations. The Sikorsky S64 Skycrane started life as a load carrier for the U.S. Army. After the piston-powered Sikorsky S60, the company invested in 3 private venture prototypes of the turbine-powered Sikorsky S64A. Evaluation of 4 YCH-54As by the U.S. Army, and 2 in Germany, led to production of 54 CH-54As, Sikorsky designation S64E, for the U.S. Army, followed by 35 CH-54Bs, S64F. Sikorsky sold 7 S64E aircraft for civil use. In 1992, Sikorsky sold the Skycrane type certificate to Ericsson Aircrane Incorporated. This included all manufacturing and support rights for both the S64E, with a 20,000 pounds payload, and the S64F, with 25,000 pounds payload. At light weights, the S64F has high power reserves, reflected in it gaining a number of helicopter time-to-height records and a record for sustained flight at an altitude of 36,122 feet. Ericsson has built up 35 aircranes since purchasing the type certificate. These are created by the conversion of ex-US Army machines, which are stripped down and rebuilt in 3 modules: the cockpit, central fuselage, and a new build tail boom. One of Ericsson's important customers is the Korean Forest Service, which is acquiring a fleet of 8 Ericsson-built S64ES. As part of Ericsson's continuing development of the type, the latest build standard includes firefighting tanks, sea snorkel, foam cannon, glass cockpit, composite main rotor blades, and full night vision compatibility. Ericsson acquired the type certificate for the 800 HP JTD-12A5A from Pratt & Whitney in 2013, allowing it to develop further enhanced support capabilities for S64 operators. 2. Martin JRM MARS attacks. If an aircraft's success is measured solely by longevity of service, then the Martin MARS ranks as one of the greatest aircraft ever to fly. Conceived as a maritime patrol aircraft and first flying in June 1942, JRM MARS remains potentially operational as of 2020. Regarded as obsolescent in its design role, the U.S. Navy decided to operate this massive aircraft as a transport aircraft, and although the end of the war meant only the prototype and 6 production aircraft were ever built, the MARS was used extensively, in the process setting a passenger-carrying record in 1949 by carrying 269 people from San Diego to Alameda, California. After about a decade, the remaining examples were retired in 1956, and there the story would have ended were it not for Forest Industries Flying Tankers, a consortium of British Columbian forestry companies, which bought all 4 MARS survivors in 1959. Converted for the firefighting role by Ferry Aviation, the MARS was by a considerable margin the largest air tanker in the world. In the 1960s and 70s, PBY Catalinas were the most common flying boat air tankers, and could carry 1,000 US gallons of water or retardant. By contrast, the MARS carried the awe-inspiring load of 7,200 US gallons. Like the Catalina, the MARS was equipped with scoops to allow it to refill its tanks from any sufficiently large body of water whilst skimming the surface, the full 7,200 gallons, 30 tons, being taken on in 22 seconds. The sheer size of the aircraft and its huge capacity proved its worth in service. Most air drops are conducted in the path of a fire to contain it, and the MARS could cover 3 to 4 acres in a single drop, and then continue picking up and dropping more water for as long as the fuel lasted. Normal duration of operations was around 5.5 hours, potentially dropping hundreds of tons of water and retardant into the path of a wildfire. 1. Bombardier 215 and Viking 415 Fire Berserkers. The best aerial firefighter is the only one that was built for the job, the heroic 15 series. It was the first and only aircraft created to do the job, and Canadair certainly delivered. The 15s are tough, reliable amphibious flying boats that can go anywhere and kill fires with aplomb. It started life with the 2 of the mighty R2800 radials, the engine of the wartime Thunderbolt and Corsair, giving it well over 4,000 horsepower. Today, turboprops give it close to 5,000 horsepower, and a wealth of modern avionics adept at both detecting and suppressing forest fires. According to the Spanish Association for the Promotion of Socio-Cultural Activities, a group as averse to hyperbole as their drab name suggests, this is the most efficient tool for the aerial combat of forest fires, key to the organization of firefighting in a large number of countries. The continuous improvements to meet the needs of forest firefighting have made these aircraft the aerial means most in demand over more than 30 years.